ecstasis, root of the word ecstasy, to mean outside of oneself. When we induce an ecstatic experience, it can be done through music, it can be done through meditation, breathing exercises and sex. Of course, we've all been transported by these experiences that are beyond description. I'm sure many of us have been mesmerized in experiences where we alter reality through visual and auditory hallucinations. Screw you. Sensations are amplified, usually through a profound sense of euphoria, and that's what makes it appealing to share the experience with friends. I'd be lying if I said I didn't understand why people take drugs, usually for a variety of different reasons. In the UK, drinking culture is so big because it's accessible, the legality of it. We have pubs around every corner. If you look at different communities, such as weed smoking communities, it's usually more of a social thing. The people that take it are usually doing it to relieve anxiety or to repress negative thoughts or memories. People who take entheogens or other psychoactive drugs, it's usually a very therapeutic or even a spiritual experience where you can learn a lot about your soul and your psyche. And even clinically, if you look at drugs such as LSD, they can be used to treat PTSD and anxiety, to help with negative thought patterns and inspire creativity. Pharmakia is a Greek word that means the administration of drugs or poison or even sorcery. I don't know why I said that, I just think Greek looks really cool. If you throw that snowball at me, you're done. You're done, you're finished. So I understand the various reasons why drugs are administered, especially for those with cognitive distortions, i.e. anxiety or depression. Nevertheless, using them recreationally, the feeling of intoxication is the main reason that they're used. The contrast between the peak of a high and the normality. The contrast between the peak of a high and the mundaneness of normal life is incredible. But I'm sure we've all heard the saying, hard times create strong men create good times, and good times create weak men. It's basically a summary of the cyclical nature of humanity's behavior. Life is relatively comfortable, at least compared to our ancestors. We don't need to fend off alligators with our bare hands or be sent off to war. Most of us living in first world countries, we have a lot of comfort.
My hands are literally freezing.
Then keep them in your pocket. Keep them in your pocket. My hands are freezing as well, but I need to get this done with. So the importance of sobriety is lost for the most part. I'm trying to express how, even though we're not in hard times necessarily, the easy things in life are made more difficult through constantly being inebriated. I felt this a lot with anxiety. Being in a state of drunkenness, you're in a temporary feeling of sort of having a confidence boost. And then you realise that behind the scenes, secretly, unbeknownst to me, a lot of these problems would just snowball and then they'll come back to bite me whenever I was sober. It sort of reminds me of the episode of Regular Show where Rigby needs to clean up his room and he hides all of his rubbish in the closet. On the surface, I looked rigid and it looked like I had everything organised. But as soon as I was sober, life would just go back into disarray. The fragility of this foundation was revealed to me because I wouldn't actually resolve the root of the problems that I had. And on top of this, all of the embarrassment that I caused to friends and family, I noticed that it's hindering me from being more mature. I'm not going to attempt to do a Ronald Reagan, drugs are bad, and wag my finger at you guys. I'm only sharing this experience so that it can be easier for other people to face, because it is a common problem, I don't doubt that. Especially in this lockdown, we're facing a situation where he's gonna hit me one of these times. Dilemmas that we usually express with people that are close to us, the people that are around us are a lot more distant nowadays. Repressed thoughts do tend to come back and haunt us, and when our only option is to face it alone, of course we point to a lot of of course we can gravitate towards drugs and intoxication. I wish to have a more stable solution to the problems that I face, with a more stoic and less emotional response, just facing them head on really. And that can only be done with a sober mind in which I can think straight, get rid of this brain fog essentially that comes around with the use of drugs and intoxication. I will probably share more of my journey, especially in the future if I'm gonna... Ah, you got it on the mic! You got it on the mic! If this is broken, that's what, 120 quid, 122 pounds I paid for this, I'll show you the receipt. Especially in the future with me going to holiday, all of these places like Prague, Portugal, Spain, Croatia, I want to go to these places, and of course there will be that temptation to, get as drunk as possible, because that's the way that we try to live our lives. We try to have as much fun as possible. I want to be able to fix these problems at home before I take them to other places, because even in the UK, I've been in pubs and I've put myself in situations where I've endangered myself, or I've left myself deserted, or I've really risked seriously injuring myself or even death. So I think that's why it's very important for me to work out my relationship with alcohol before I grow up and before I mature into a man. I'm a man, but a bigger man. But that is my thoughts on alcohol and other drugs. Make sure you subscribe to the channel, and peace.